Welcome to the premiere of Medium at Heart, our podcast. We are sisters, if you haven't noticed. My name is Angela.
My name's Annette.
Annette is the medium. And we're so happy to be here. This podcast project was a long time coming, but my sister has had the gift of mediumship of... I'm going to let you explain what it is.
Okay, sure.
Okay. She's had this for a long time, and we're going to talk a little bit about her gift. I just have the gift of gab. That's the only reason I am here. But she has a very special gift. I'm going to let her explain that to you. But it's something that you did feel very strongly about sharing with people, and that this was the time to do a podcast like this for you.
Yes, I waited a long time to do this. So I connect you to your loved ones on the other side. Basically, I see dead people. And I have so many stories that people have sent me validating things that I've told them that I want to share with the world, because I feel like people love to hear about that. And I basically work for the other side. I relay messages from your loved ones to you.
That sounds like a really big and important job. And before we get into some of your stories, I do want to talk about how you knew you had this gift, because we obviously grew up together, and I didn't realize until later in life that you had this gift. But give us the backstory.
Yeah, I didn't share it for a long time because I was scared of it. I think that, remember we shared a bedroom in Irvington?
Yeah.
Okay, so whenever I would feel something or see something or know something, I always had to have my back against the wall. I don't know why, I just did. I felt protected. But I remember playing in our room, and I remember our grandparents, Dad's parents, being in the corner of the room and just being beautiful. Like she had on a long white, beautiful dress and just light and love. And I knew it was them, and I knew not to fear them at that young age. And she had others with her that I knew were family. And I honestly just paid no mind and just went about it. And then as I got older, like middle school and high school, I didn't want anything to do with it. I thought I would be, made fun of, or it wasn't the norm. Even though, like, we knew Mom was psychic, even though she was a nurse, as you...
Yeah, she didn't really talk about her psychic abilities at all. And we knew she had this gift, but it wasn't really a big deal.
Yes. There were times she did speak to me about it. But anyway, I hid it for a long time, or pushed it down for as long as I could. And then until, of course, I was in my late 20s and I had to have open heart surgery. And after I recovered from that, that's when it really just came to fruition. And I thought, okay, this is the reason why I'm here. I have to share this with people.
So I didn't know you had this gift. And when you talk about sitting in our bedroom in Irvington, I remember the bedroom very well.
Yes.
I think we had purple walls,
Yes.
and I think it was like Holly Hobby or some kind of...
Yes.
Like, I remember that part of it. Of course, I never saw what you saw, and you handled it very well, because you really were calm about it, obviously.
I became very introverted and very shy in life. But that's okay.
For that reason. But you didn't
Yes.
really know enough to talk about it too openly.
No.
And you were shy about your gift. You probably didn't really understand what was going on at that age.
Right. No.
But there was a time in Ireland. We went to visit our relatives in Ireland, and we were sitting at a table. I think my brother and I were off playing somewhere. And you were sitting at the table with Mom
I was
and
sitting
our
with Mom
aunts.
and all of our aunts, because Mom is one of 10, right?
Yes.
So we were all at the long kitchen table. I remember it was like tea time, you
Yeah.
know. And they would talk about knowing things. And I remember, I think it was one of our aunts, I think it was Aunt Alice, said to Mom, "Oh, she's a healer. She has it. You
Whoa.
can see it." And I knew I had it, but I said nothing. I just listened.
Wow.
So, and Mom said, oh, yes, she has it. In their Irish accent, they would say it.
Wow.
And I thought, okay, that did so much for me at a young age, because it validated that I did have it, and I wasn't seeing things, and I was different, but I was accepted, because they just said it with such love.
And they said it really matter of fact, I think.
Very matter of fact.
Right.
Because I feel like they all had a part of
Yeah.
it, They all to what level, I don't know. I think mom was more of just she knew things. Again, not
Wow.
practicing it,
That's powerful,
but I feel
Annette.
like you have some of it, but I know you don't want really anything to do
Oh,
with it.
I said to my
You're scared
sister,
of it.
I say to the other side, you don't need to come visit
Yeah.
me. You can go to my sister's house because I'm not prepared in any way, shape, or form to receive those kinds of visitors. So I'm good with Annette having the gift. Yes, I did say that very clearly once I realized you had the gift. Now, I knew you had the gift of communicating with the other side and bringing people together, and hence the word healer, because I know how much comfort it provides for people. You had your open heart surgery at a
Yes.
very young age. And I remember the discussion with you and I was that either during surgery or right after surgery, could have even been before, you saw our Uncle Tony who had passed.
So when I found out I needed open heart surgery, I was obviously just so scared and thought the worst. And I remember talking to mom a lot and saying, Mom, you need to, just pray and make sure everything goes well. So I was in the room and the nurse came up, and Angela, I remember this so clearly. The nurse came into my room and she said, "Okay, Annette, we're gonna, they're gonna be up for you in about 5 minutes. We're gonna take you down." And I thought, okay. And I just laid down and closed my eyes. And like, when you ask for something from your soul,
Oh, yeah.
like from my soul, I said, God, please. And to my loved ones on the other side, I'm begging of you to just send me a sign that everything's gonna be okay. And I saw Uncle Tony as what I call a solid. And a solid means I saw him like I see you. So that takes a lot of energy from the other side to come through like that. And then I saw just a beautiful white light of just the most peaceful feeling I ever felt in my life. And I said, everything's going to be okay. And then after my recovery, which you took care of me, after my recovery, I said, thank you for that. And now I will, I'm going to accept this gift that I have. And I have so many stories ever since I remember it took about a year to heal. Ever since I was like, the first day I felt good, it was like, it came on. And I
But
thought,
you were open to it.
oh, I was open to it. I knew it was, it was time. Like I couldn't push it away anymore. I kept quiet for so long
Oh.
about things, and things I knew. And obviously nothing, major. I probably would have told someone something, but yeah, it was time. And then I just was like, okay, now how do I do it? So I started to practice on my friends.
And so like your friends and then others would come to you and you would do readings. They're called readings.
I would do readings. So I started, I practiced, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to try it. So I would do them. Yeah, I would do them in person. And I remember asking mom, like, Mom, how do I do this? How do I differentiate what they're telling me from like things on my thoughts that are loud and sometimes louder? And she said, you just say it. You can't put thought to it. Just say it. And so I took that advice and I just say it. And that's the soft voice I call. When I just say it, that's the soft, peaceful voice. And that's when I know it's messages from your loved ones.
So the first time you did this, the first time you did a reading for someone, what was that like for you? And what was it like for the other person?
So actually, this is a good story. So I was in line waiting to pick up my son, and I had my daughter in her car seat, and someone came through very strong. It was a mother figure, which I knew. I felt that mother energy. And I thought, oh my goodness, there's all these people picking up their children at school. How am I going to walk up to someone and just start saying what I'm saying? So I confided in a friend of mine, and I gave her these messages. And next thing you know, I'm walking to the car with the kids, and I hear, Annette, Annette, Annette. And so she introduced me to her. And I told her some things, and her mom had just passed probably about 2 weeks ago. And she validated everything. And the next day she came to the house, and that was probably my official reading that for about 45 minutes, she sat across the table from me, and I just gave her the messages and I read for her. And that was the first one in person.
What was her reaction?
Amazing. Tears. Everybody cries. So I do disassociate myself in the moment because it's very emotional for people obviously for everyone when you lose a loved one. So I just know that it's my job to just tell you what I'm seeing, hearing. It could be tasting. It could be all of my senses. And then after that, after we're done and I feel their energy pulling back from me, then, I sometimes do get emotional with them. But I tell them, everyone I've read for in 20 plus years, I say, you will leave here with the most peaceful feeling you've ever felt. And it's true.
Oh, it is so emotional talking about this. I feel like I could cry too for a lot of reasons because it's so nice to know that that is something that people can do.
Mm-hmm.
I know from letters I've read, and there's a story about you in a book, the kind of peace and comfort that people get
Yes.
out of this. So I imagine that for you, that's very
Oh,
satisfying.
it is such a great feeling. I gain just as much peace as they do because I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Oh, Annette, that is
Yeah,
so
it's great.
beautiful. I do have some questions for
Sure.
you. Actually, not so much that I have questions for you, but what are some of the most common questions that others ask of you?
I think, okay, they ask how it works. So, how does it work? So, I use all my senses, including my sixth sense, which would be the strongest, because the other side, sometimes I don't understand what they're saying. So, sometimes they'll show it to me in print, or I'll smell a familiar smell that will be
Wow,
familiar
wow.
to the person I'm reading for. So, I'll say, well, I'm smelling whatever it is, a certain taste. It could be anything. But that's how it works. Now that I've been doing it so long, though, I can control it. Like in the very beginning, it was very difficult. They just came in. They just,
Wow.
like, I remember heating up my daughter's bottle and I was rounding the corner to go up the stairs. And you know how my house was.
Yeah.
And the living room couch would look like the doctor's waiting room.
Oh
I
my
swear to
goodness.
God, I was airborne. I
Oh my
took
gosh.
3 steps at a time up the stairs and I thought, okay, this is so scary. I don't know if I can do this. And then I said, okay, we have to set some boundaries. So I sort of imagined a sliding glass door in my head. And when the door was closed, it was like family time. It was just me time. And they were respectful of that. And that's how it works. Yeah.
That is so fascinating to me. And what a special gift to have, to be able to, you're almost like you're an interpreter.
Yes. Funny you should say that. Actually, I had a client come over who she only spoke Spanish, her and her family, and they brought their aunt who was an interpreter. And she relayed the message. It was amazing because I'd never experienced that. It was so amazing and heartfelt. And here's a question people ask. So they would say, but my grandmother only spoke Italian or my grandmother only spoke Spanish. Well, that's where my spirit guide comes in, and I'll teach you all about that
Okay.
because that's
That's
amazing.
another
Oh yeah,
episode.
another episode. And she sort of told me in the language that I understand what they were saying.
This is amazing. I am so proud of you
Thank you so much.
that you are, you're accepting of this gift that you have and that you are so open about sharing it.
Yes, I feel it's time, and I know that people love to hear the stories. And I think when I do my readings, they love validation. They want to know like the goings on and things that the other side sees that obviously I would have no idea about. That's what they love. And then that when they have that, they know that they can call on their loved ones and they're around. So I have a lot of fun stories to share about some fun readings I've had in all these years. But anyway, enough about me.
No, it's never enough about
Let's
you.
talk about you.
You're the medium at heart. I'm not. I just talk. I talk for a living. That's all I do. Yeah, but I'm glad that we're here and we're finally at this moment
Yes.
where we can share these stories and let people know that there's great comfort and peace in really feeling your loved one around you.
100%.
And I will share a story a couple days ago because because our parents passed away in the month of September,
Yes.
both in the month of September, 1 year apart. And I was not always someone who was very open to signs or open to asking for signs because sometimes I think in life you feel a little bit more fragile or a little bit more vulnerable. And it depends where you are in your life, what you're open to receiving and what you're open to seeing even. So I asked mom and dad, I said, I really miss you this month, especially. Can you send me a sign? I've never done that before. So I said, I need a sign. Like I'm in a place where I need to know you're near. I miss you terribly. And it's been 5 and 6 years or 6 or 7 years
Yeah.
now. So I go outside and I'm walking where I always walk, and a beautiful white feather, the most beautiful white feather, not a bird feather, just a feather. Like I could describe it as an angel wing
Oh,
feather.
I love
I know, I
that.
want to
I
cry.
love that.
Oh, I'm getting verklempt.
That's okay, cry.
I'm getting verklempt. Floated across my path just peacefully and beautifully. And I look around and there's no bird and there's no foliage and there's no plants like this nearby. So I'm like, okay, noted, noted. It registers with you. So went back inside, and then a little while later, I get in the car, and the song "Heaven" by Belinda Carlisle came on.
Oh my gosh, that's Mom.
It's Mom. It's so powerful because when my mother passed, I heard that song, and it was very meaningful to me for many reasons. That song came on.
Ugh.
And then I'm walking in a parking lot a few hours later, and what do I see? Something that a lot of people have talked about over the years that they have experienced, but I never did until this day. A penny. A beautiful, bright, shiny penny was in the center of my path. And that was all in one day.
That's very powerful, and I'm so happy you asked, and I'm so happy you received them. And they wanted to make sure you knew that they were there, so they sent you those 3, not just the one. Because if you notice when you said I had the one, well, I noted it.
Right.
Then the second, then you believe it, and then you
Yeah.
know it. That's
And then
amazing. I love that they did that.
I was very, very happy. So thank you, Mom and Dad,
Yes.
for that. And I will say this, it gave me a kind of peace and comfort that I didn't really understand until that moment and until that happened. So it was a really special day for me.
Nice.
And just right before we
I know.
came to do this,
Yeah.
I love that part of it, that it was a couple days before Medium at Heart launched.
Yes. See, they're
So
with
all
us.
very powerful. So Annette, what can you leave us with in terms of keeping the faith and keeping the hope that our loved ones are most definitely near?
Well, I'll say ask for signs, just like you did. Ask and you shall receive. They will send them to you. And I feel like that's the energy you need. And that helps you. Ask your loved ones for a sign. So when I ask for signs, I literally call Mom and Dad like they're here. I'll be like, Mom, come sit down. Come here. I need you to send me a sign now. I always follow it with now because I feel like on the other side, there's no time. It's just peace, love, and joy. And they sort of just,
And they're busy.
they're
maybe.
busy doing things, whatever. And then just let it go, release it. Don't try and look for it. Don't try and find it because then you'll think about, oh, I don't have, when is it coming?
yeah.
Or when am I going to know? Ask for a sign, ask as many times as you want, and then just let it go and let the sign come. And then share that you received the sign.
Yeah, and that's what I did. I shared it here and I shared it in other places. And I do want to say this because, to your point, with intention. With intention is really important because
Right here.
it has to come from the heart.
So,
And
right, yep.
it was with intention that I asked for it. And yeah, you can't think, oh, everything I see or what is it going to be? Don't do that to yourself and don't do that to your loved ones. Just with intention and then go on.
And then when
with
you
your day.
receive it, thank them. And more will come.
Thank you. So what we would like you to do with intention, we are asking you to follow us on all our social media platforms. And we are we're on all the socials, but it's also really important that you download our podcast, Spotify, Apple. You put us on the socials, on the TikTok, the all-important TikTok, which I'm not yet on, but I will be now. I will get my own account even.
Yes.
Thank you, Annette, for bringing that into it. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. And we would like you to be a part of the Medium at Heart community because you mean so very much to us. And if we can hug you through this podcast and we can inspire you and give you comfort, isn't that really what
it's all about? Keep it simple. I always say, just keep it simple. And like Dad always said, which I tell people always at the end of my reading, I say, as Dad always said, he said, we're all just passing through. Be you.
Yes. Thank you for joining us. And thank you to our incredible, amazing producer, Ben,
Thanks,
for
Ben.
helping us make this. Ben, can we see a picture of you on
Yeah.
the show?
Hello. I just wanted to let you all know that this was amazing. I'm so excited for this show and this journey, and everyone's going to be coming in, tuning in to you every week. Now, if anybody had any questions, where could they
Oh,
reach?
yeah, definitely. You can email us, right?
Thank you for that, Ben.
Thank you. Or direct DM, right?
Yeah, DM, or we are at mediumatheart@gmail.com. Mediumatheart@gmail.com. If you have any questions, if you have any stories that you'd like to share, we want to hear from you. That would be wonderful.
Yes, follow us. Do it. Talk soon.